Shot. And that's the run, or the runs, that Geoffrey Boycott needed. A nice way to get it, 4 runs, and he becomes the greatest run getter for England in Test match history. 7,628 runs to Geoff Boycott. He's now, with Sir Garfield Sobers, the only one ahead of him on 8,032. The shout there is for a catch, and he's given it. Ken Palmer has given it, but Boycott didn't bother looking. He just waited to see if Marsh would signal that he'd caught it, and as soon as he was satisfied, Geoffrey Boycott went without bothering to look at Ken Palmer. Good shot. Very good shot for 4. Beautifully punched away there off his toes by Graham Gooch.
Very powerful player off his legs here, and this is a full half volley. And he really makes no mistake there. Beautifully balanced, perfect timing.
Hasn't been the swing there for Dennis Lillee this morning. He's been pitching around about middle and leg, but the outswinger hasn't quite been working. But that's close. Yes. Well, he missed Boycott, but he got Graham Gooch. And that's a good piece of bowling. That darted back very, very sharply from just outside off stump. Gooch is gone for 10, and England 21 for 2. Tavre is off the mark now. Got 2 there, down to Lillee at long leg.
Runs again for Tavre, nicely kept down. Dyson running after it, and 2 to Tavre. Oh, and he certainly got his fingers to it. And bad luck indeed for Terry Alderman. David Gower out hooking in the first innings at Edgbaston, and very nearly went the same way there.
Well, this is obviously the treatment the Australians are going to dish out to David Gower early on. You see how tucked up he is there. He doesn't really get inside the line, and this is a tremendous effort by Graham Wood. He just doesn't quite make it.
So 27 for 2, but it could so easily have been 26 for 3 there. That's going to go all the way.
Good bowling this again by Terry Alderman. The ball has certainly moved a little bit off the seam here this morning, which you would expect a new ball to do under these conditions. And both the Australian opening bowlers have bowled extremely well.
And that's more where David Gower wanted it to go. Smoothly played away for 2. That's a long distance, the best shot he's played today. A really solid off drive. And the stroke of the morning. And one imagines Alderman will go to lunch, but at this end, Dennis Lillee is indeed being relieved by Mike Whitney. from New South Wales and brought over here by the Northern League club Fleetwood. And so rather than call in Graham Beard or Trevor Chappell, who are in the touring side, this man Whitney is being called in. He's playing in his sixth first-class match, and here's his first ball in Test cricket to Chris Tavery with England 38 for 2. And Hughes congratulating him for, despite the butterflies in the stomach, getting it somewhere near the stumps. Whitney played a few games for New South Wales last season, played against Sri Lanka for Gloucestershire this year, and was about to play for Gloucestershire in a championship match yesterday when and now he's going to have to long wait before his second ball in first-class cricket because it has started to rain.
Well, that was bad luck for young Whitney. You saw what he did with the ball when he started to bowl that first over in Test cricket, and it must have been quite a letdown for him to have to go off the field. 43 minutes the players were off the field through that light rain, and just a touch of bad light as well, although it didn't really affect the resumption. Here's the third over bowled after the players came back. Whitney again has a chance now with David Gower, and in the commentary box with Peter Parfitt is Christopher Martin-Jenkins.
Oh, and a drop catch by Wood, and very nearly caught at second slip, and Wood looks as though he's hurt himself. And Whitney may well bemoan his ill fortune there, because it looked as though that was the end of David Gower. As it happens, it looks as though Graham Wood has been hit in the face somewhere. Well, they say that if you're going to flash hard, and Gower at least did that. Nicely played away by Gower to bring up the England 50. And these two have now put on 25. Oh, and a fine catch, straightforward. Gower falling as he so often does, and Mike Whitney takes his first wicket in Test cricket, and bowling in just the right place to get David Gower. He's so inclined to edge those balls around or just outside the off stump. That's what he was bowling for, the extra pace, causing Gower to hit it in the air and straight to gully, and thank you very much. So Mike Whitney takes his first wicket in his fourth over in Test cricket, and a very important wicket to have taken too. England are 57 for 3. Really off the mark. But a marvellous effort by Mike Whitney, and well-deserved word of congratulation from the captain. 4 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 4 now. And England 59 for 3. And he's got to go. And now England really are in trouble. The first ball that Braley had received from Terry Alderman, shuffling across, and umpire Palmer having no doubt that he was in front. So England are 62 for 4.
So Whitney to resume, now to Gutting. Nicely away over pitch ball, that's put away down the third man for 4. First boundary now to Mike Guttin, who's been threatening to find the edge. That's nicely stroked. No effort at all. Wellham was very sharp indeed, doing exceedingly well to cut that off. That's a good shot, forced off the back foot. A rare loose delivery there from Ray Bright. That's the short one, and he's hit it magnificently. Great shot over deep square for 4 more. And the extra man he put that there at square leg was of no avail whatsoever. Cleared him very comfortably. 1 bounce over the ropes, and that brings up the 100 for England. 103 now for 4, with Mike Guttin joining Taffery on 26.
Hooked again. And beautifully hooked past Wellham out at deep square. A lot of power and beautiful timing in that. And he's gone this time. Lilly has got him. And a little touch of experience there from Lilly. That one perhaps just a bit quicker. And off the glove this time. I think you could say quite fairly that that great Australian fast bowler laid the trap. And that although it cost him a few runs, in the end he picked up the wicket. Catch! What a catch by Ray Bright, and Lilly's on a hat-trick. Both of them goes for naught. And Raymond Bright, diving away to his left-hand side, has taken a sensational catch. Both of them out first ball, and England 109 for 6. What a day.
That's a shot he's played very well before. Wideish half volley, allows it to come on and puts it away very firmly square on the offside for 4. Another confident shout going up, but presume no response from umpire Constant. Might just have got outside the off stump.
Confident shot here, appealed by Terry Alderman, but I think Alan Knott's leg gets just outside the line of the off stump, so therefore it cannot be LBW. It probably would have hit the off stump, but his pad was outside the line.
There's 54 overs gone now. New ball, by the way, comes up here at 85 overs. So still a long way to go for that. As Alderman resumes to Knott. And that's out. So neatly caught, border at second slip, thick edge, and Alan Knott goes. 31 now for 7. Knott caught for 13.
This was another example of the batsman not getting into line to hit the ball, plays the ball away from his body, his back foot didn't come across at any stage, the ball held its line and he got the edge, and Border took quite a difficult catch into his midriff. That is not a good position to catch the ball.
So Embury away, just tipped it away past short leg for a single. It's a big roar from the crowd.
And a superb crowd here today. It's virtually full Old Trafford, and they are sitting stoically through disappointing performance by the home country, and also through some very slight drizzle at the moment. And that runs. Very well-timed stroke by Chris Tavery. He did no more than put the bat in the path of the ball, but it went away very quickly indeed. Yes, Alan Border taking us his second good catch. And Embry's dismissal means that England are now 137 for 8, and that the amazing Terry Alderman has taken his 4th wicket, and moreover has now become the highest wicket taker by an Australian in a series in England. And he's off the mark. First runs in Test cricket for Paul Allott. And if they want the third, they could probably have got it, but Tavery content to stay down that end.
Interesting move this by Kim Hughes. He's bringing the fielders in after 3 deliveries.
And that's Tavery's reply, but it didn't go quite where he wanted. And very nearly run out by Leary. But that is a very well-deserved 50 for Chris Tavery, his first in Test cricket. And this huge Old Trafford crowd appreciating a really gutsy performance. Great concentration. 4 fours, 161 balls, 3 hours and 58 minutes.
Safely way down to third man. And I should think that the England captain might be under the impression that Chris Tavery hadn't picked up his signals, that he'd prefer him not to throw his innings away at this stage. And he's gone, and I'm afraid he didn't pick up the signals. He certainly wouldn't have played that shot. But it was a very good innings from Chris Tavery, 69 in a total of 175 for 9. Michael Whitney's second wicket, and Bob Willis will have to come out with just 3 to 4 minutes still to go. Great effort. I think that it carried to Kim Hughes and then bounced out when he hit the ground.
Perfect delivery across the right-hander, and a magnificent effort by Kim Hughes.
The second day of the 5th Cornhill Test at Old Trafford. A great day yesterday, great for excitement anyway, and very much Australia's day, with England finishing up at 175 for 9. Today, conditions very much better than yesterday. Quite a cloud cover around, but there was the promise of that breaking, and plenty of blue sky was forecast for later in the day, and that should have been to the advantage of the side batting, and the Australians could well have expected that would refer to them very, very quickly. Just one more wicket to take, and that shouldn't provide too much trouble, or should it? We've seen so many strange things happen in this series to date. Nothing is impossible, I promise you. Well, here's the second over of the morning, and it's young Michael Whitney coming in to bowl to Paul Allott, who is 9 not out overnight. 3 runs have been added, 178 for 9 it is now. And in the commentary box, Tom Graveney and Jim Laker.
And in trouble here, I would think. Oh, what a terrible throw. Oh, he's got 5. that's possibly about the worst throw I've seen in a Test match for years. He wasn't within 10 yards of that. Well, that's livened Old Trafford up. Whitney's still in action. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Right out of the book. Perfect illustration of the leg glance, giving Rodney Marsh no chance at all as it raced away for 4 more. So Hughes moving over from mid-off to mid-on as Allott faces Lilly. And that's a good-looking shot, and that brings up 200. That only brings 200 up, but it gives Paul Allott his highest score in first-class cricket. And that's quite a performance to come into a Test match and make your best ever score at number 10 when your side are in trouble. That's a cracking shot. And that will probably give Bob Willis more enjoyment than taking 5 wickets. Oh, almost a smile hovering around Mike Brealey's face there now. And good reason, because these late order of batsmen once again have done him proud.
And that's a very good shot indeed. It really is a classic square cut. And a great effort by Wellham, but an unsuccessful one. Well, I don't know if Lancashire knew that this boy was a batsman, but there's no doubt that he is.
This is a magnificent square cut. Not a very intelligent piece of bowling, mind you, but he did well to reach that too. And he crashed it square.
Oh. And there's the 50 partnership. That wasn't quite such a good shot, but he got a little bottom edge on it, and it is 4 runs over the top of the stumps. 227 for 9, and now the highest stand of the innings. Oh, he's done it again. Would you believe it? Paul Allott has made 50 in his first Test match, and the crowd rise to salute a new hero of Old Trafford. That could be the end of it. Hughes underneath it. Yes, Willis holding out for 11, and England all out for 231. So a last wicket stand of 56.
And I did say nothing was impossible, and it certainly wasn't. 52 not out for Paul Allott, his highest score in first-class cricket. What a way to do it in your first Test match. And apart from anything else, I thought he played very well. He played straight, played some handsome strokes, and showed a good defence as well. Bob Willis gave him good support. No one pretends, least of all Willis, that he's a good batsman, but those 11 runs and the partnership of 56 for the last wicket, absolutely priceless to England to give them 231. And what a memory for Paul Allott. That's the way he scored his runs, that highest score in first-class cricket, 52 not out. And look at the preponderance of runs when he was batting at this Stretford end. That's the one at the bottom of that card drawn up by our scorer Wendy Wimbush. He scored a lot of runs on the offside, in front of and just behind point, and on the leg side between backward square and down to fine leg. Not much at the other end when he was facing that old campaigner Dennis Lilly, who finished up taking 4 for 55 in 24.1 overs and 8 maidens. Terry Alderman, who yesterday broke Lilly's wicket-taking record in Test series in England, finished with 4 for 88, but very surprising. It wasn't used this morning until late. I just can't see any reason for him not to come on and open the bowling with Lilly this morning. Whitney, 2 for 50, did very, very well in his first Test. He's a young lad who's played just a few games for New South Wales, but he'll do much more in the international field before he's finished. He may have been a surprise choice, but he certainly bowled well. Right, well, the Australians 231 in arrears when they started, and plenty of fireworks in store in the session up to lunch. Here's the first over. Bob Willis has taken the new ball for England. Graham Wood is taking strike, and in the commentary box with Peter Parfitt is Christopher Martin-Jenkins.
Well, there was the invitation to hook, and Wood accepted, and that was nowhere near a fine leg. It was beautifully played in front of square. A very solid stroke indeed. And that's 4 more, and I don't think this... No, it's gone indeed for 6. It was beautifully picked up by Graham Wood.
And what a great start for Bob Willis, and for England, John Dyson goes without scoring. And England have broken through, trying to fend it away there on the offside. And a very neat catch. That's one of the more unorthodox strokes of the morning, and you can throw in any of the ones played by Paul Allott and Bob Willis. It gets Kim Hughes off the mark, so it'll be a great relief for him. Oh, that's out. That is plumb. 2 wickets in the 1 over. Bob Willis, after Graham Wood hit him for 4 and 6 in his first over. His 100th wicket against Australia was the one that took Dyson, and now Hughes has gone. 24 for 2. Yes, I think it's held up, and he's gone. Allott doesn't want to go. He thinks it hit the ground before it was caught, but it's held up by Botham. That slip, umpire Constant gives him. And 3 wickets in and over to Willis, that one from the last delivery. That's out. And Allott takes his first Test match wicket, 24 for 4 Australia, and the whole thing is in tatters. It's a loosener from Botham, and really loosened up by Kent. 53 for 4. Short run from Bob Willis. And runs there for Alan Border. Very firmly hit pull shot. Botham right arm around the wicket now to Border. What a catch! David Gower. A brilliant piece of fielding, that. One of the best catches you'll see in a year of cricket. The 5th Australian wicket goes down in the last over before lunch. Border caught Gower, bowled Botham 11. Kent remains 21 not out. And what a session. What a performance that was. 58 for 5. The Australians, they were 24 for 4 at one stage. At lunchtime, 58 for 5. And just 3 batsmen there into double figures. Wood, who was Allott's first Test match victim, and Border 11. Kent 21 not out. And what a performance. That really was almost as disastrous as Headingley and Edgbaston. Well, Bob Willis was the destroyer there. 3 wickets in the 1 over. Here he is now, straight away after lunch, coming into bowl to Rodney Marsh.
That was a ridiculous stroke by Rodney Marsh. He'll pick himself, Botham taking a simple catch. It was a sharp one, he made it look easy. Willis takes his 4th wicket, and Australia are 59 for 6. And Marsh first going to play a stroke, then deciding he'd take the bat away, and the result was that he just simply edged it straight to Botham. And Australia are in total disarray at 59 for 6. And that's an example of those lovely strokes he was playing before lunch. He's a marvellous player off the back foot, Martin Kent, used to the hard wickets at the Gabba at Brisbane, and beautifully struck. Pleasantly timed, and indeed 4 runs. effortless stroke by Ray Bright. Doesn't have much of a backlift, but
yes, I think it's fair. It was a half volley, wasn't it? You know, and by every sense of the word and the game, clearly that is a ball that should be going for 4 with an attacking field.
and that's perfectly safe. Absolutely crash off the middle of the bat. Whether, as he played the shot, he was quite certain where it was going, I wouldn't be 100% certain. Kent, with that splendid shot, reaching a really fine 50 in all the circumstances, which has come in remarkably quick time. And indeed off only 43 balls, and that was his 7-4. And bringing up the 100 in only the 20th over of the innings. That looks like 2 more. And he's gone, yes. Going to force that away with all his might through the covers. Possibly the one which carried straight on with the arm from Embry. We'll have to see it from another angle to decide on that, but a little edge and Allen not doing the rest. So Kent's splendid innings ending at 104, Australia 104 for 7. And that's another of the many milestones passed in this series. And has had the better of that in a slightly unorthodox way.
I think drinks are ready to come out. Now with Derek Underwood on the right and Trevor Chappell on the left doing the job. It's well bowled, and he got it away. In the end, it was the quicker ball from Embry. It was very well struck by Ray Bright, but it was that curving top spinner that goes a little bit with the arm. Well, Willis is at deep backward square, but neither he nor Boycott will be able to save that. It's a well-judged stroke by Lilly. Square to go past the 120 mark. That's a straightforward catch. You can't have anything more straightforward than that. To Graham Gooch behind square leg. Don't think Lilly could believe it for a moment. This really is Botham's half year, isn't it? He can do anything at the moment, whereas he couldn't do a thing early in the summer. Just comes on, rolls over his arm, and Lilly cracks it away behind square leg, and Graham Gooch didn't have to move a whisker. Lilly caught Gooch, bowled Botham 13.
And he's bowled him all over the place. Back goes a leg stump. Another success for Paul Ellett, so he's having a very good day. Undefeated 50 with the bat, and this is first test match, and now his second wicket. 126 for 9, the Australians tumble down to. And Whitney goes, as they say, without troubling the scorers. 126 for 9 as Alderman faces his first ball. Roared in by the crowd. And got an inside edge. Bob Willis will have to hurry. And out came the big right boot. And Alderman comes through for 2. Both again to Bright. Bright now in 22. And he's gone. Little edge through to the keeper. Simple chance to Alan Knott, and Australia all out in dramatic style here for 130, giving England a lead of 101 runs here on first innings.
As I was walking around the back of the ground, someone said to me, how on earth are you going to describe that? The answer, I'm afraid, is that it's indescribable. Just one innings there over the 50 mark. A very good one, too, from Martin Kent, 52. Brighton Lilly, 22 and 13 down the bottom of the order. But I wonder what those England bowlers were thinking. They must reckon it's a pretty easy game. 30.2 overs they needed to bowl out the whole of Australia, with Willis taking 4 for 63, Allett 2 for 17, Botham 3 for 28, and Embury 1 for 16. A very, very disappointing performance from the Australians, and there really wasn't very much in that pitch. Well, England started off their second innings 101 ahead. They added 2 more, and we're in the third over now, and Lilly is coming in to bowl to Graham Gooch. In the commentary box with Peter Parfitt is Jim Laker.
That's a lovely shot. Took it away fine down the leg side. And Gooch very noticeably there, getting the position very quickly. And he's left the leg stump open and he's knocked it over. So Graham Gooch goes, bowled by Alderman. Alderman strikes again. And Gooch goes for 5. England losing the first wicket here in the second innings with just 7 on the board.
Jim Laker saying he didn't think Dennis Lilly had quite the same sharp edge at the moment as he has had in years gone past, and I think I agree with that. They still find the blunt edge. Williams doing the chasing and will just catch it. Four runs, no third man. And that scoring pattern chart we showed you a little earlier would always indicate to me that for Tavare you'd need either a 4th slip and a very wide third man, or at very least a third man. Still plays quite straight with the angle bat.
Mike Braley in conversation there with 2 of the England selectors, Charlie Elliott on the left of your picture and John Edridge in the middle. And that sky behind the score box there doesn't look too welcoming, does it? But as long as it doesn't rain until 6:30, we should be happy. Two more to Boycott. Hughes the field up. And that's more like the Boycott of old. Lilly off his short run, a nice friendly pace, and punched away on the offside off the back foot. Well, gone up rather nastily, but Tavare keeping it down well and bringing up the 50.
That's shrewdly placed by Boycott, got into position quickly Put it away through mid-wicket. Just get 3 for it. Very bright, bowling it in, saving the throw now. And again, this big crowd giving vent to their feelings. Their percentage of Manchester United supporters here today, looking up there and now applauding the 50 partnership. Also getting in good voice for the coming season across the road. With Alderman coming back on. Having a crack now from this Stretford end, taking over from Whitney. It's a beautiful drive, off drive. Whitney giving chase, no chance of stopping it. Beautiful off drive from the bat of Kent's Chris Stollery there.
And with him at the close of play was Yorkshire's Geoffrey Boycott, 31 not out, and I suspect needing a few runs as well. Quite a solid performance from that pair. They didn't play it, miss it very much at all, and that was a good, sound performance that's taken them on to a lead of 171, and that is quite a formidable one, just the 1 wicket down, that of Graham Gooch in the second innings. Well, the Australians will feel very, very desperate at the moment. It hasn't been their day at all, whereas the first day was very much theirs. Today, that partnership between Allott and Willis absolutely destroyed them this morning, as indeed the one between Botham and Dilley did at the tail at the Headingley Test match. They really can't get through the bottom of the England order, and it's costing them dear. Their batting today was very, very poor. It's one of the worst batting displays I've seen, and that's saying something when we think about Edgbaston. The bowlers have a tremendous task in front of them to contain the England batsmen, and that England team, they really must be wondering what this game is all about. And 2 of them in particular today, worthy of mention at the close of our programme. Paul Allott, who later was to take his first Test match wicket, finished up with a half-century in his first Test, and that's his highest score in first-class cricket. Tremendous performance from him, and the other man, Bob Willis, who wrecked the Australian innings with those 3 wickets in the 1-over. It should be a great day. I must tell you that occasionally on Saturdays in recent years we've had some pretty ordinary cricket. Not so today, we hope, because the whole thing is set up wonderfully well for the home crowd. A packed house yesterday with the gates closed, and today England start off 171 runs ahead. A tremendous position for them to be in, just the 1 wicket down, that of Graham Gooch yesterday afternoon. Conditions very good, bit of a cloud cover, but the forecast is excellent. And here's the first ball of the day now. Dennis Lillee, that great Australian fast bowler, is coming in to bowl to Geoffrey Boycott, and with me in the commentary box, Peter Parfitt. It's good running for a start. Geoff Boycott was quick to pick up the single yesterday, and starts off in the same vein today. One wide of the bowling crease. Michael Whitney, the fielder. It's well bowled. Boycott is LBW to Alderman. My word, this young fellow has beaten the England opener on so many occasions this summer. That was a good delivery, beating what was purely a defensive stroke, and Australia have taken their second wicket.
Would you believe it? He's fallen for the card trick again, dropped it short, the man at mid-wicket, and David Gower once again has obligingly held out. England 80 for 3 with Gower going for just a single, caught by Bright off the bowling of Lillee. And finally he's moved it along. In terms there of doubling his first hour's output. And he's off the mark with Typical, fairly short-armed hook shot that he plays very regularly.
And this will be one of Mike Gatting's problems, whether to hook or not to hook.
I don't know that character slip. We'll just possibly get another look at that and see exactly where it hit Mike Gatting.
As we said early on, this is going to be the problem, because Denis Liddy is going to test him out, and it was very difficult to tell whether there was a little bit of glove on that or not.
And that's the first 4 of the morning. A thoroughbred stroke from Mike Gatting, and what a relief for the crowd. And it's enough to get the Union Jacks waving. And he's going to go. Terry Alderman takes yet another victim, his 3rd of the innings, his 7th of the match. And England go into, well, nearly at lunch now at 98 for 4.
And that's pushed through the offside. A rare cheer. They've really reached the state here of cheering singles, and there's 2 this time for Tavri. So that makes the 11th run he scored today. And it brings 100 up for England. 101 on the board now, the loss of 4 wickets, with Tavri moving under 40. Alderman to Brearley. And that's so beautifully taken down the leg side. Alderman struck again. Brearley goes. He's out for 3, and England lose their 5th wicket with 104 on the board. Just drifted down the leg side, and Brearley moving across, helping it into the wicket-keeper's hands. Well, he's got 2 men back, a deep square and a deep long leg for Ian Botham, his first ball. And he's worked that away. He's off the dreaded pair, and that will no doubt bring a huge sigh of relief, and I'm quite sure a big grin. There it is.
So Chris Tavri needing 1 for his 50, facing Mike Whitney. And he's got it with a short single to mid-wicket. So Tavri's patient, enduring effort brings in his 2nd 50 of the match. My word, it's been hard work, but 5 England wickets have gone down, 4 of them since he's come in, and he's still there. Right again to Botham. And that's a good shot, and that's going to be Botham's first 4, the first 4 for England since lunch, and only the 2nd of the day. And really this match is crying out now for some of the belligerence that Ian Botham showed at Headingley. Can be entirely understood, because they've had to wait patiently for any aggression from the England batsmen. Whitney to Botham. Oh, and that is off the inside edge, extremely lucky, going for a big shot through the covers, and a very thin inside edge. Marsh having no chance of cutting it off with his left hand.
Through the gap, well on the chaser. Three there to Tavri. Whitney now to Botham. Botham's on 21. Goes to 25. They just mustn't give this fellow room to play outside the off stump. It doesn't look to me as though they've picked up anything from their Headingley experience. Anything that gives him room outside the off stump, he just thrashes.
And really, it's West Indian style. Hit it on the up. He doesn't get very close to it, but he hits it on the up, and very, very solidly indeed.
Toward Botham, and the crowd is now animated. They were very quiet early on, and so was the batting. And up comes the 150 for England. Ian Botham goes to 28, Tavare 59. So David Constant has taken the second new ball from Ken Palmer and walks back up to the Warwick Road end. Terry Alderman comes back on. Out comes the ball out of the cellophane. And that second new ball being taken instantly by Kim Hughes. And give him room outside the off stump. Catch for Whitney to have to take. He's put it down. But what a steepler, what a terrible moment for a lad playing in his first test match. It was miscued and it went so high. He thought he had it and then hesitated and had to make ground for it once again. Dennis Lillee. In the air and 6. That was a good hit because he was beaten for pace with it and he took his eye off it and still swung the bat and collected it over deep square leg. In the air. And again. He's beaten Whitney and Wood away there at deep square. No hooking down there, safely into the ground. But once again smashed behind square.
And another bouncer here. And this time Ian looks at it. And he hits it right in the middle. And that goes for 6. His second 6 of the over. And it takes him on to 48.
Just not learning at all, the Australian bowlers. At Headingley, they gave Botham room to play his strokes. Here, they're doing it again, and he smashed them for a quick 50. 60 balls it's taken him, 2 6s and 6 4s. And it's delighted this capacity crowd here at Old Trafford. Good shot. Well, Dennis was very lucky there that he was on the way down with his head as the ball went past. Botham has gone ahead of Cabaret now. 65 to number 6 and 63 to number 3. And that drew Alderman into the trap. The first one up to be driven down the ground. Now that was just about the best shot Botham's played today. Good shot. And amongst all the blazing hitting, Cabaret's producing the occasional gem. And in the background, the crowd rises for the three-figure partnership. In the air for 6. He plays that shot very well. He doesn't bother looking at it. He just swats it away like a, well, as he is smashing a fly.
And this is another astonishing shot. Just watch Ian Botham's head. He's not looking. But he still swipes it for 6.
Dropped him. I'd say that he got the hands to that.
I swept, I'd rather imagine, from about middle and off. Not quite middle, but it takes Botham on now to 96. And brings a look of disgust there from bowler Bright.
Yes, certainly pitched outside the off stump there, but Ian Botham somehow got it down to fine leg for 2 good runs.
Well, that one didn't. Lily's there. It's cleared him over the ropes. What a magnificent way to go to a 6. What a superlative exhibition this has been. And the whole of Old Trafford rising to its feet to acclaim yet another memorable, magnificent performance from Ian Botham. Down the wicket, big hit, glorious shot, all the way. Up go the arms, 6 more for Botham. And that's 6 times he's cleared the boundary in his total of 109. Little bit of lift there and he's gone, caught behind, and the end of a truly memorable, magnificent performance by Ian Botham. 118. Young Mike Whitney takes his wicket. It's another very simple catch, in fact, this time to Rod Marsh. But the whole of Old Trafford, you can be sure, will be on their feet. And they're going to applaud him all the way in, a reception he so thoroughly deserves. Nothing could have been better for a packed Saturday afternoon crowd than to see an exhibition of stroke play such as we've seen from Ian Botham.
I reckon the Australians will be more pleased to have that view of Ian Botham than any they've had out on the field for the last couple of hours. That's how it all happened. That's Ian Botham's scorecard as put together by Wendy Wimbush, our scorer. And it shows 1 or 2 very interesting things. Just have a look at those strokes away on the offside, which indicate just how much room the Australian bowlers were giving Botham for his strokes. The only strokes he played on the onside were the 6s he hit from the Warwick Road end, and the ones he swept away off Raymond Bright. Those are the details of what was a magnificent innings that spanned the tea interval. You can see it finished at 452, and what a performance it was. Eventually caught Marsh bowled Whitney. He received 102 balls, and he scored his century from 86, and that included 5 sixes and 11 fours, a total of 6 sixes and 13 fours in the whole of his innings, and I thought it was a better knock than the marvellous innings he played at Headingley. 118 in that total of 253 for 6. Still there is Chris Tavares on 69. Well, 2 overs after that happened, the score was still 253 for 6. It hadn't changed at all, and Chris Tavares and Alan Knott were just getting ready to settle in for some more run-getting for England. Here's Michael Whitney now coming in to bowl to Alan Knott, and in the commentary box, Peter Parfitt is with Jim Laker.
And push that away quite nicely into the offside. Sees him underway with a single.
Oh, and yet another inside edge. There have been an extraordinary number of those in this match. And poor Rodney Marsh, once again throwing a despairing left hand at that.
Way outside the off stump, which Alan Knott takes a slog at, and it goes down the leg side. Rodney Marsh very nearly stops it.
And he can play a few shots as well. It's not going to go to the boundary. Well, neat bit of rugby passing to Graham Yallop. And he's gone. At last, Australia get Chris Tavares out for 78. And in the end, it was a simple slip catch. The ball lifting very suddenly there, and Tavares, who's played the short ball so well, really unable to keep that down. It was, once he got behind it, more or less unplayable. And that's nicely played and nicely timed by Embury. Wood after it. Well, now, I think there was a yell of 4 from the crowd behind Wood, and it seems to me that they may just be right there. And still the crowd yelling 4 with... and now he's given 4. Oh, and it's through Willem. Hit it very hard. Well fielded by Dyson, the third man, but that brings up the 300 for England. Crowd enjoying this. Plenty of variety for them today. And that's beautifully struck. That you really meddled in, and it bounced back off the advertising board in front of the pavilion. He's always been a great sweeper, Tom.
Yes, and Alan sweeps on length, not direction. If the length's right, you can sweep the ball. Super shot.
Oh, and now he's really, this is the impish knot of O. And like Botham before him, he's a difficult man to bowl to when he's in this mood, because he can invent strokes.
.50 to Alan Knott, and that's a real good hand from Knotty. 2 there.
And big applause for the 50 partnership. Very, very useful partnership this for England. Exactly what was required.
Well, in years to come, people will look at that scorecard at the end of the 3rd day of this Old Trafford Test match, and they'll say, well, that was a pretty ordinary day. 275 runs made and 6 wickets fell, so it's just in the normal context of Test cricket. In fact, 29 runs were scored in the first session, 127 in the second, 119 in the third, and Ian Botham played an absolute blinder. Really was a corker of an innings, that, and Alan Knott gave him tremendous support there with 56, Chris Tavare with his 78, and I must say a word for Tavare, 69 in the first innings, 78 in the second. I have a high regard for his method and also for his courage, a very uncomplicated method. It's simple, and there are a lot of young players around who would do well to try and copy it. He plays so straight. 345 for 7, and some of those bowlers took a bit of a hammering towards the end, although their figures, in fact, don't look all that bad because they bowled so accurately and well early in the day. Lilly 1 for 106, Alderman 5 for 105 from 44 overs and 14 maidens. He has 37 wickets in this Test series now, and Whitney 1 for 68. Well, what a day, and what a performance from Ian Botham. Very good little innings there from Alan Knott at the end. And Australia now, if they're to win this match, will have to establish a new record in the history of Test cricket for teams batting 4th. And Australia in desperate trouble at the start of the 4th day of this 5th Test match at Old Trafford. That was the good news for all England supporters packing the ground here. Another capacity crowd. They closed the gates one of the days. Yesterday, they packed it out to watch Botham, and today the spectators were in for the kill. England a lead of 446 when play began in marvellous conditions, few clouds around, but really it was just about the best day you could imagine for cricket. Perfect blue sky and the pitch playing nice and evenly. England starting off with that lead of 446. Here's the second over of the morning now. Dennis Lillee is coming into bowl. Alan Knott is taking strike. There's 1 run added to take the lead to 447. And in the commentary box with me is Peter Parfitt. Dirk Wellham is beaten, but Whitney's not. Nice save there by the young player in his first Test match. First run of the morning for Alan Knott goes to 57, 28 to Embury, 347 for 7. The reason Dennis Lillee has switched from the Warwick Road end to the Stretford end is shown in those flags there. Quite a stiff breeze now. I had the feeling he was running up into it from the Warwick Road end. And as you look at your screen now, with Lillee going away from us, the breeze is going from left to right and is slightly behind his left shoulder. Good shot, and that's 4 runs. That's fine blow from Embury. Goes to 33. A really good shot from what was a rather loose delivery.
This is a textbook back foot shot by John Embury, and he hits the ball very crisply past Doug Wellham at cover point for 4 runs, who has fielded very well this innings.
What a marvellous catch that is. You won't see a better one than that. Johnny Dyson, away down there at third man, has taken a sensational catch to get rid of Alan Knott. Almost took one yesterday to grab Ian Botham's wicket, but couldn't quite hang on to it, and today that was a great piece of fielding. 356 for 8 now. The lead is 457, 2 wickets in hand, and Knott has caught Dyson bowl Lillee for 59. Good shot. Beautifully timed, in good position. That's off the mark. And a very relieved cheer from all his fans around this Old Trafford ground.
And I'm not sure if he's got a column in the paper this morning, but Mike Braley obviously able to relax up there on the balcony. Did it to Embry. And that's a lovely shot by John Embry. And he's now equalled his highest test score. A nicely played straight by Allen. Everything right about it. The weight in the right place, head over the ball.
Oh, and that's very leisurely, easily pushed off his thighs there by Allett. Coming back for the third. And Whitney there in some doubt which end to throw at, so he plopped it in the middle of the wicket. And that's it, he's squeezed it away through the slips. Don't think they'll worry about a second. They'll be gratified enough to take the one. Up will go the bat. There it is. 50 runs for John Embry for the first time in a test match. Oh, that's a fine shot. Only person in danger there was Paul Allett. And what a joy to see a batsman use his feet. A good, lofted, perfectly safe shot.
And here he comes, down the wicket. Good foot movement. And a very good strike. Nearly got his partner.
Well, Allett's come a long way down, and he couldn't gather the ball. Well, the Australians who've done everything in the field so very brilliantly, missing a very, very obvious opportunity there, with Bright unable to gather that return.
Well, it's 50-50 this. It wasn't a terribly good throw, very difficult for Ray Bright to take.
He's got it at the second attempt. Martin Kent, 2 good catches he's taken. Caught one yesterday. And has picked up John Embry there to make it 396 for 9. And he's given it the leg glance for 4. .400 up for England. Yeah, Hughes catches it. That's the end of the innings. And the Australians bat immediately after lunch. 505 is the lead for England. Just for your records, for Australia to make that to win in the 4th innings will establish a new record in Test match cricket. And the match situation at lunch. England 231 and 404, Australia 130 and 506 needed to win. Here's the first over now. It's the second ball, and Bob Willis has been given the new ball. He's coming in to bowl John Dyson, and in the commentary box, Peter Parfitt and Christopher Martin-Jenkins.
So, oops. John Embree, Gully having to run back and almost falling over himself there, but he's in a happy frame of mind. I'm sure he'll do a lot of bowling in this innings unless the fast bowlers break through again. That's going to go all the way for 4. No third man. So the run's immaterial at this stage. And there is Kim Hughes reading about what he should have done yesterday, perhaps. Looks very absorbed in it, doesn't he? Almost as though he can't bear to look over the top of that paper. Oh, it's got to be quick. There must be a run out. Oh dear, what a disaster for Australia.
Push forward there by John Dyson. He sets off straight away and in fact is drawn up the wicket a little bit by Graham Wood and is sent back very late, and there wasn't a run there. Gower, one of the quickest people in the game at cover point, and at no stage could he get back to his ground.
Willis again. Well, that was not the sort of shot one would expect Kim Hughes to play at this stage of such a crucial innings. It really was a rather airy-fairy sort of stroke. He's got 4 runs for it.
Yes, bowl short by Bob Willis. Not a good shot by Kim Hughes. He didn't really get behind the ball at all, and it went over the slips for 4 runs because at this stage of the innings there's no third man.
It was a superb catch by Alan Knott. It really was. Very low, and he made it look so easy.
The ball goes down the leg side. Graham Wood gets himself into a position to hit the ball, swings at it, and Alan Knott gets across very quickly and catches it 2 hands.
Oh, cracking stroke.
And Hughes has been notching runs very steadily in that direction. He's had Gower back at third man to save the boundary after it put 2 away down there, but now he's added a third and taken his side onto the 50 mark. Well, with rings of close catches, very few people out, runs have come at a brisk rate again. 52 for 2 coming up in the 13th over. Well, with all these runs to play with, of course, they can afford to do without a third man. Nobody back there, and Allott again to Hughes. That's another good-looking shot. Half volley, leg stump. It clipped nicely through mid-wicket. Boycott having a long chase, going to give it best. And successive boundaries now to the Australian skipper. And again, that's a good shot. Once again, plenty of evidence there of the lack of pace in this pitch. Yallop all the time in the world to get nicely in position and just tuck it away off the back foot for 2 more runs.
Yes, in fact, he hits it on the up, which is an indication that the pace has gone out of the wicket and things are becoming nice and gentle.
And again, all the time in the world to hook that away, drop short, and Yallop nicely into position. He collects 4 more, total going on to 65, and Yallop now into the 20s. Hughes facing Willis. And he's cracked that through mid-wicket before to drop short. Beautiful shot. And surely Bob Willis will see now that this isn't really a wicket for dropping him halfway down. That's short, and again it's been put away by Graham Yallop, who's really enjoying this knock now. He's overhauled Kim Hughes, and Kim Hughes a fine stroke player in his own right. And that's followed it in glorious style. That really is a cracking extra cover drive. Overpitched by Yallop and really hammered away in Botham style there. It's another nicely timed shot from Hughes. Just made 2 out of it. So those 2 runs bring up the 100 for Australia, and it's come in remarkably good time. So many adrift, needing over 500 to win, but they've pushed the 100 up in just 18 overs.
Didn't quite get that. Got it well enough for 3 runs. Good piece of fielding there. Nice piece of throwing from Mike Gatting, and a half-century to Graham Yallop. And that's a very good innings. I'd just about give that as a chance, I think. It darted alarmingly off the seam and went very, very quickly past Brealey's right hand.
Good piece of bowling this. Just left Kim Hughes. Edge and just about carried. Very difficult, low down to the right.
Not far away. Yes, he's given Hughes out OBW. OBW to Botham, and Hughes must have been in line with the stumps there, because he was certainly playing a stroke. And there's that dismissal again. The left foot comes forward. Well, there we are. That's LBW to Ian Botham, 119 for 3. And that's a fine stroke to get Alan Border off the mark. He's batting with a broken hand.
And that's a good shot. It's hit time quite sweetly again by Yallop, who's really middling this ball nicely. He just pulled the man in from that long on boundary, and Yallop picking his spot, goes on now to 76. Yallop again. And that's hoisted away through mid-wicket. Good shot, very safe, sound. Carrying on in a really excellent vein here. Graham Yallop goes into the 80s now.
So Botham taking over from Willis. Stretford end. And Alan Border, not in any way respecting the danger that Botham has so often presented in this series, smacking him away for 4 to square leg. Allott to Yallop. What a fine shot. And he helped that from outside the off stump, and Yallop really has looked the part today. Last ball of Allott's over, bowling to Yallop. Oh, and Chris Tavery, one of the safest slip fielders in the country, not quite grasping that with his right hand, and an escape for Graham Yallop at 89, and a reassuring pat on the back, but a very disappointed Tavery.
Yes, a ball that moves slightly away from Yallop. He gets the outside edge, and Chris Tavery, moving to his right, fails to hold a catch he should have caught. How often I've seen this before at a time when nothing seems to be going on and the game is quietly going on and the chances offered, and how often I've seen it missed.
And while Ian Botham gets ready to prepare to bowl again after the drinks interval, that young man behind the stumps there is his elder child, Liam Botham. And those pads come up somewhere near his tummy. As you can see, he's a bit immobile, but any moment now, if he gets the bat in his hand, we may well see the ball flying over into the main arena. Botham to Yallop, still needing 3 for his 100, and that could well be it. It is. A hook to square leg gives Graham Yallop his 3rd Test 100 against England. A triumph for him after what has been a disappointing tour. He certainly wasn't a certain selection for this Test match. And Allott to bowl to him. And another splendid stroke, straight back down the ground, very hard indeed. And when Graham Yallop drives the ball, he really shows the full face back to the bowler. And another one. 2 really resounding straight drives in this over.
And he's done him, bowled him. Yallop trying to hit away over mid-wicket. And that's a sad loss of concentration after reaching the 100. A lack of concentration shot in the last over against Botham, and Embry now has broken through, bowling Yallop for 114. 198 for 4. 6 wickets to go for England. Australia still needs 308. Helmet, I would say, which from the way he got up is probably a plus mark for the helmets.
And really this didn't bounce at all. Ian banged it in, and you see it just didn't bounce.
And it's 198 for 4 now, with Graham Yallop the man out for 114. Botham is bowling to Border. Gower the fielder away at cover point. 2 to Border takes him on to 22. Martin Kent is the new batsman. It's not yet off the mark. This has been an eventful over, with the 200 coming up now for the loss of 4 wickets for Australia. 306 required. And Botham already this over has cracked Border on the helmet with a bouncer. Oh, well done, that's well bowled. It looked to me as though it was the curving off spinner. It was outmoved in the air. Just 4 more added to that Australian total after Kent's dismissal to take it along to 210 for 5. Wood out for 6, a weak shot that one, and Dyson run out for 5, an even weaker run out between the opening pair. I just can't imagine how any fella could get run out needing 506 to win in the 4th innings. I can only believe that there's some bizarre reason, like they thought they were behind the clock at that stage of the innings. Kim Hughes batted very well today, 43, and Yallop, a splendid innings that. That's just about the best innings I've seen from Graham Yallop in Test cricket, an innings of skill and courage and temperament. He can be very proud of that effort, and so too can Alan Border, batting with a fracture of the left hand. He's 28 not out and fighting away there, and Rodney Marsh is with him on 2. Martin Kent was dismissed there towards the end, caught Brearley, bowled Embury for 2, and it was a good day then for Brearley, because a little earlier it had been announced that he was going to captain England in the final quarter. England have many more chances in this series, but this is Australia's last hope. They have to win or draw this match to retain a chance in the series, this final day of the 5th Cornhill Test match at Old Trafford. So 296 they need to win before a ball is bowled, and England to win need 5 wickets. Conditions were excellent again, a bit more cloud today, so it might have assisted the bowlers just a little bit, but you can take it from me that conditions for batting today, as far as the Australians were concerned, absolutely ideal. Border and Marsh were the overnight not-out batsmen. Border on 28, and Marsh hadn't yet scored, coming in at the fall of Kent's wicket yesterday evening. Here's the 3rd over now. It's Ian Botham coming in to bowl to Rodney Marsh. There have been 3 runs added, and in the commentary box, Peter Parfitt and Jim Laker.
A streaky couple of runs here at least. Really giving chase, and Marsh coming back to make it into 3. Well, there's no need to run there. Bob Willis put away in very effective style by Marsh. That's a tremendous yahoo. Really put his ears back and let fly 4 more.
I can't really describe that by saying that's a good shot. A wahoo, I think, is about the only way we can describe it, but it did go along the floor, and it did go for 4 runs.
Well, there's no need to run there. And Border picking his spot quite delightfully there. There's another bouncer. Once again, he's got into position well. Hooked it way down the long leg. 4 more to Rod Marsh. Another short one, another hook, another 4. So Rod Marsh dishing out the treatment now to the short pitch deliveries from Bob Willis.
And that's 4 less they've got to get, or 4 fewer. 4 more to Alan Border. Lovely crisp stroke off the back foot. And that brings up the 50 partnership between Border and Marsh, and they've scored at a very healthy rate and kept Australia not only in with a chance of avoiding defeat, but in with an outside chance of winning this game and making history by a mile. Slow one, it kept low, but neither of those factors stopped Rodney Marsh bashing it away for 4 to square leg. And that's well struck by Marsh. But David Gower has put him down. He picked it up, it went all the way down to deep square, and Gar just inside the rope. He may have been unaware where the rope was, I think. And in fact, it has gone for 6, but there's no doubt that it was a chance. .276 for 5 then. 230 runs needed for what would be an absolutely sensational Australian win. Bearing in mind that the most ever scored to win a test in the 4th innings is 406, and that reduces the amount needed still further. Border taking his top hand off the handle as he has once or twice when going for a full-blooded stroke, but still hitting it firmly for 4. It was a fairly friendly full toss.
And even with a bad hand, we don't miss out on those.
And there is a really fine 50 by Alan Border, completed. 51 out of 282 for 5. And he came in when defeat seemed a good deal more inevitable than it does now. And that's 4 more, and Getting is being made to look very ordinary by Alan Border. And on this pitch, in all honesty, he is. So really going well for Australia.
And Australia only requiring 220 to win, with quite a lot of time left.
Out after it, but he can't catch it.
He's been given by umpire Ken Palmer, caught at the wicket by Alan Knott of Bob Willis. A big shout from Knott and Willis and the slip fielders, and the 6th wicket goes down for 296. 210 still needed for Australia, but England now need only 4 wickets. Single to Border. Wade hasn't yet adjusted his strokes off the back foot to Willis's pace. He has to face him again now. That single bringing up the 300 for Australia. 206 needed, or 4 wickets. Wright's not off the mark, and Allard is coming around the wicket to Border, still with 3 slips and a short forward square. Shot. He's played a couple of those, mainly through extra cover. That was square of ordinary cover, and a glorious stroke.
And front foot right to the pitch of the ball there. Any young left-handers watching, that's the way to play it.
It's a good shot. 2 marvellous shots on this over from Alan Border. The first one, great cover drive, and then that was just about the classic square cut.
And beautifully across, and doesn't he give that a crack?
And it is. Wade Wright goes on to 2, and the total to 317 for 6. And what a good innings that fellow's played. Yes, he has played a splendid innings there, and 70 not out. That is a fine performance from a young fellow. Although he's had quite a bit of experience in those 26 years, he's doing a marvellous job there today with that damaged hand. Ray Bright is 2 not out, and a very, very good innings and a good partnership there between Marsh and Border. 317 for 6, and we pick up play now in the 4th over after the luncheon interval. Just 1 run added. Bob Willis is coming in to bowl to Ray Bright, and in the commentary box it's Peter Parfitt and Jim Laker.
It's overpitched, driven quite respectively through mid-off. No great power in it, but it'll bring in 2 runs. Still a long way to go. 184 wanted, 4 wickets left. And he's given him another diving catch down the leg side by Alan Knott, and the batsman slightly reluctant to leave.
Down the leg side, short. It looks as if Ray Bright has got a glove on it, if anything. And Alan Knott dives down the leg side to take a good catch.
And Lilly to face his first ball. That's confidently away, over pitch ball, just about half volley in fact on leg stump, and put away very nicely by Lilly. Just about to be pulled up. They'll take 3.
Shot. That's how half volleys ought to be played.
A classic shot, this. It is of a half volley length, pitched right up outside the off stump, and he plays a fine shot for 4 runs. I think the great Neil Harvey himself would have been proud with that.
And that's very well played indeed by Lilly. Hooked along the ground in front of square. And for the umpteenth time in the last 2 days, emphasizing the real docility of this pitch, because he had plenty of time to play that shot.
Yes, Dennis Lilly doesn't even have to go back to play that shot. He plays it almost where he is. He has plenty of time to play the shot, which shows the pace of the wicket at this stage.
So the 350 up. No mid-off, so it's perfectly safe. Long chase back for David Gower. I think he'll defeat the ball, but they should get 3. Lovely shot. Oh my word, that travelled like a bullet. He's hit so many fine square cuts, and I think that's just about the best of them.
Look, he gets right across, leans into the ball, gets his head over the ball and hits it very hard indeed.
$362 for 7, with 144 still needed, and about an hour and 45 minutes plus the final 20 overs to go. So there's plenty of time for Australia.
Start of this over, John Embry. Up comes the 50 partnership, and that's another very, very good effort from the Australians today. What a catch! Both of them. What a marvellous catch that was. It was out of his reach, I'll swear. And he took it 2 hands. It wasn't even a one-hand grab. Nothing wrong with the shot. You can bet your life that Lilly labelled it 4 runs from the moment it left the bat. 373 now for 8. Just 2 wickets to go for England, and Allott has broken through. Both of them is away on the left-hand side of your picture. That's a good shot from Border. What a nice way to bring up 100, and what a good 100 that is. He's let go of the bat with that left hand, and I'm not surprised. There's been a lot of pain all the way through there. An even 100 for Allan Border, an extraordinary innings of courage and skill, with tremendous emphasis on the courage.
And he's got to go, LBW, yes. Border look, all of them looking a little disappointed, but it looked as though it was going to bowl him until one realised it had hit the pads, and that's usually a pretty good sign that he's right in front. So the 9th Australian wicket goes down at 378. They still need 128, and now it's almost over. Oh no, he's going to get, now he could go all the way for 4, which will be what Border doesn't want. And Gara allowing it to run over the rope. So that's 4 more runs, somewhat unwillingly garnered by Allan Border. One ball to go before tea. Whitney's still to get off the mark, but he's done very well to hang on. And everybody now round the bat. Memories of the Oval at 1968. That famous photograph when everybody was in to watch Underwood getting in Verity out. That hits the pad, there's an appeal, but it's not out. No, that's through. And Allott setting after it without any great haste, because England are quite prepared to let it go to the boundary. So another boundary for Allan Border, and he's still got one more ball of the over to try and get a single or a 3 from to keep the strike. But that 4 brings up the 400 for Australia, and that's a performance of great character when they appear to be very demoralised. Oh, and that was a chance. That was a chance. Allan not missing Allan Border outside the off stump. It turned just enough, kept a bit low perhaps, and Nottie put it down.
No question about that. Allan Border went tentatively forward, got an outside edge, and Allan Nott has dropped his first chance of the match.
Yes, he's out, caught it. Forward short leg by Mike Gatting, bat and pad. Whitney unhappy to go, but England have retained the Ashes. Willis taking the final wicket, and Mike Brearley's triumph completed. Coming back to captain England at Headingley, and Ian Botham, who has played such a big part in this match and whose wonderful innings at Headingley turned the series, which seemed destined certainly to go for Australia. And Ian Botham showing the true sportsmanship that these Ashes contests are all about and have been all these years, more than 100 years, shaking Allan Border by the hand, because Border is perhaps the real hero of this last day, even though he's a hero in defeat.
And that's exactly what Allan Border was, a hero in defeat. 123 not out, a fractured third finger on his left hand. He showed tremendous courage and skill and temperament there, and my word, not only can he be proud of that innings, but everyone who knows him can be proud of the fact that they witnessed that here today, watch it on television, listen to it on the radio, or will eventually read about it in newspapers or books. A wonderful hand that from a fine young Australian cricketer. 28 there to Dennis Lillee, played very well, and what a blinder of a catch that was from Ian Botham. Ball was well past him, I thought, and he snatched it out of thin air with two hands. 402, and the England bowlers, the heroes there for Mike Brearley's team. Bob Willis 3 for 96, he came in again there and picked up wickets at the end. Paul Allott 2 for 71, Ian Botham 2 for 86, did a lot of work there and bowled off and off a short run. John Embry 2 for 107, Mike Gatting just used there to try and purchase a wicket, no wicket for 13. So the Ashes go to England and the series goes to England. Man of the match, well, who else would you give it to but Ian Botham, who played that marvellous knock the other day, picked up wickets and took that splendid catch. And I don't think Mike Brearley, as he talked to Peter West after the game, would have the slightest objection to that.
And it's many congratulations to the winning captain, Mike Brearley.
Thank you, Peter.
The Ashes retained, sure of winning the series, and 3 wins in a row since you came back to take up the captaincy. That must add up to something very special in any cricketer's life.
A lot of luck, I think. And a lot of skill, of course, shown by the players. Terrific performances. Ian Botham, I suppose the 2 best performances of all, Ian Botham and Bob Willis over the 3 matches.
Tremendous.
Absolutely marvellous.
Yes.
Bob, perhaps, you know, you'd have said there was a fair chance when we started the second innings at Headingley that he wouldn't have played anymore for England. And he's come and shown that he's the fastest bowler, well, perhaps except for Jeff Lawson, who's been injured, but the fastest bowler apart from him in the series, and he's bowled really well.
But Australia made a splendid fight of it today, didn't they?
They certainly did. We were worried several times. I mean, last night when Kim was batting with Graham Yallop, and then today when Rod Marsh was in with Alan Border.
You felt getting rid of Rodney Marsh was...
it was very important.
Yes.
Fine player. He played jolly well.
Yes. And what about the innings, Kim, of Alan Border?
I think it typified Alan Border's career. You know, he's one of the finest players I feel that's represented Australia and ever will, really. They talk about the greats in the past, but Alan's performance stands up with those, and he's done it under pressure. You know, I've seen him on turning wickets in Pakistan get 250s. And I mean, today's effort was, Mike's played against him a number of times, and it was typical of the fellow himself, and he's only 26, 27 or something, you know, so very, very proud indeed of him.
At about 4 o'clock, he played a missed the ball from Ian Botham, and Alan Knott said he's played a missed. I mean, that, you know, literally, you could probably count on the fingers of one hand the number of times he played a missed in 6 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a magnificent innings, and he had a broken hand as well.
So far as this match is concerned, Kim, I suppose it was the Australian batting in the first innings that really got you into the card.
Yeah, you know, again, we had England the other day in their second innings, 5 for 104, and their last 5 batsmen put on 300. And then our first innings just wasn't good enough. You know, it was a good wicket, but it's been mainly Bob Willis that's got the early breakthrough. And even in this second innings, you know, chasing 500, I felt we had a fair chance to sort of put up a good show, but there was a run out and early wickets and that sort of thing, and after that we couldn't afford to make too many mistakes. But I was pleased the way the fellas fought on, but very disappointing actually that we've lost the series, because I sort of felt that there's been so little in it, and it's basically been really, I think, Ian Botham that's been the difference, because he's had that ability to swing a game with, you know, his catch today to get rid of Dennis was unbelievable.
It doesn't seem so long ago, Mike, since you followed on at Headingley, and around about the Monday, middle of the day, you were still about 80 behind and only a few wickets in hand and packing your bags. Eh?
That's right, could have been 2-0. And then we'd have struggled to win at Birmingham.
Right.
So, I mean, that is what the game is like, and it can seem easy afterwards, or it can seem easy to people a long way off, but it isn't, and it's so balanced.
Can I go back to Kim? We've heard so many views about Ian Botham's mighty performance this innings here. You touched on it briefly, Mike. From your point of view, Kim, the man who had to set a field and sort out his bowling against this astonishing assault.
Yeah, if you don't get him early, he seems to get hundreds. But he's so strong that, and he hits straight. He doesn't hit across the ball too much, but he hits straight. I think at times we've tended to bowl a little bit short. and give him a little bit of width. But I thought yesterday's innings was one of the greatest innings I've seen, and by far away a lot better innings than he played at Headingley, although it was a different wicket completely. But once he gets going, you know, he could have been out. Mike Whitney could have caught him, you know, and sort of smashed one way up in the air or something, and it would have been a very, very difficult catch. But if he had his middle dolly knocked out of the ground, it could have been a totally different game. But I mean, that's the way Ian will play, and whoever ever tries to change him should be lynched. And I mean, as long as you've got Ian Botham, England will have a chance of winning, because basically, again, when he's played well, England have won. And it's been a long while since England have won games, and it's been a long while since Ian Botham's produced the forms he has in the last 3 tests. So really, he should be put away and treated very, very gently.
Well, understandably there, Kim Hughes a little more subdued, but not as subdued as he might have been, because Australia really did fight very, very well today. That was a splendid performance by the batsmen, and yesterday as well. Don't forget Graham Yallop's excellent innings yesterday that gave Australia just a glimmer of hope. So England have won the Ashes. That's not so desperate as far as the Australians are concerned, as was losing this match, which lost them the series as well, because if they could have got a draw out of this game, they could still have squared the series at the Oval, and now it's just a matter of playing down there to salvage some pride. But they certainly re-established themselves as far as the batting goes on the last 2 days of this Test match. They lost it with their batting in the